I got that. Yeah, heard them call me conscious. I ain't think about it honestly. My thoughts too deep to process, so I do this all unconsciously. Finally feeling God bless. Got 'em woke up dropping prophecy. Don't take it out of context. Just before, I swear they always sleep. Now they catch the message, yeah. Bet that every song is deep. It's levels in each concept, but I can't just never mono theme. I'm trying to lead this flock for the cause, not the following. People upon a partner, and I wonder why they drawn to me. Once upon a time, I thought to follow up a dream. Draw life about these lines, nothing twice about these schemes, and like thrice about these insights. What I write is like a blueprint for you to comprehend life. That's light, I reckon, make you shine. Never dim it down, even if you live surrounded where everybody vision clouded. Remember, staying down ain't quite as good as getting out. It said, remember, staying down ain't quite as, ay. If you believe, yeah. Many doubted it was hard for them to think. Somehow I'm finally getting out of that's it. Usually, yeah, they vision clouded, but as you can see by now, we finally getting out there, writing truth, spreading love. Tell me how you feel about it. Got this music from above, this how I know I'm getting out there, writing truth, spreading love. Tell me how you feel about it. Got this music from above, this how I.
Appreciate you guys for listening. It's been over 5 months since I've published a podcast. I did one about a month and a half, 2 months ago, with the intro and outro music artist to this podcast, Real. And I fucked up and turned the microphone sensitivity up too high, and the sound was too fucked to save. So apologies for that. A little background on A-Dub, the guest for this episode. This dude's like one of my big brothers. I met him in 2008, 2009. He introduced me to the Four Agreements. But not only that, we have shared many epic adventures and experiences, and just like a super huge impact on my life. Can't, the love I have for him is infinite and forever. This was actually a really awesome conversation, and I say actually because if you know A-Dubs, you know he can be a space cadet, a little scatterbrained, rambles sometimes. He's like one of my favorite people in the world, but those are all reasons why he hasn't been more frequent of a guest on here. But this one was super awesome, so I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I enjoyed editing it and putting it together, because this was a good one, and appreciate you, Dubs, and let's talk again soon, man. That was awesome to catch up. Peace, brother. And peace to everybody watching. Again, appreciate you. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, I do have a lot of content on my YouTube. Only my full podcasts are on Spotify. I do clips and abbreviated episodes and readings and other just content on my YouTube channel that is not on my Spotify or my Apple podcast. So if you are listening on one of those platforms, please check out my YouTube. But before I just spend a bunch of time making this introduction, listen to this awesome podcast, and I hope you guys appreciate it. Peace and love. What up, people of the internet? I got my man A-Dubs, aka A-Ron. This is my older brother. He's been on the pod before, but not in the balancing act. Well, he actually was with Real, but you didn't have a big role in that one. But this is his debut on the balancing act, so to speak. And I don't even think I had video the first time we did a pod together. So,
Wagwan. Yeah, I think the first time I remember I was with the chick Elizabeth, and I was in her basement, and like it was a decent like hour and some change, but we got my story out a little bit, but it was like in the earlier days of your podcasting, and it wasn't as official,
Well, yeah, I mean, we were just talking about before we started recording, like back in the day, like 2009 through 2011, we would have like homie conversations, and like you always were like, man, we need to record it. We need to record these conversations. And that was like when podcasts were kind of a thing, but like Joe Rogan hadn't really blown up yet. So they weren't like super popular yet. But But yeah, man, like you kind of seeded, I think, in my mind, like James and I definitely like talked more about like starting a podcast in concrete terms, but you definitely were like seeded in my mind there, you know, and I was like, yeah, we should just do that because we've always had like I've always had good conversations, especially with friends that are willing to question themselves in the same way that I question myself. You know, I'm very self-critical, and I think like sometimes that is like an awesome thing because it makes me sharper, like get motivates me to improve myself. And then sometimes it can be, my biggest enemy because I'm a little too hard on myself and I take myself personally and shit like that, Um,
Yeah.
but I am
No,
how I am. Like I've always been super critical of myself, because I don't know, I think for all of those positive reasons mainly. And I feel like I want to do I want to be the best person I can be for others as well. Like it's not necessarily a selfish thing, but I also am aware of the fact that I can only give what I have. And so like if I have myself on point, then I can be better for other people.
yeah. So just now it popped in my head. I think some of that has to do with you being an only child. You know,
Right.
like I only have one brother, but still, like looking back as a child, I still remember having that thought, like it's not just me. Like so, which sometimes would allow me to like be less accountable. I feel like, because in my mind, like I could like have my little brother as a scapegoat, or like it wasn't just me because there's other influences around, like everything that I did was still my choice, but sometimes it was influenced by my brother, like because I don't know, I'm the older brother, and growing up, I thought it was just us two, like Batman and Robin, but growing up and hearing how from my parents and how they saw it, like my mom pretty much raised me, and then once I got going, I just like dragged him along. Um, but but yeah. Oh yeah, so we're gonna go that Russ song. What's the name of that?
So the song's name is Enough.
Enough.
And
Okay.
there was just like a little part of a verse here that A-Dubs and I decided we wanted to talk about for the pod. Um, I'm just actually going to skip the first little part and make it a little bit shorter. He says, "No one appreciating us until we're dead and underground. It's no surprise that suicide is super high. It's not unusual because men know that they only get their flowers at their funeral. We're hardening ourselves instead of gardening ourselves. Suppressed emotions, we're alone. So now we're targeting ourselves. Don't want to talk to out of pride in fear of coming off weak. Some women looking at you lesser if there's tears on your cheek. But if there's tears tattooed, that same girl is a freak. So they attracted to the pain unless they hear the pain speak."
So real.
What do you think he's saying? Like, expand on what he's saying there, man.
I mean, he's just addressing what's been going on the past. I can't call it. Almost, I feel
20
like
years
yeah, slowly, but it's coming to like a head.
accelerated, the
Yeah,
last five.
for sure. If not the past like year or two, really, it's like blown up. But I think also the past year I've been a lot in my head because of I've been in my situation now, kind of being stuck immobile, because I have 3 vehicles and none of them do shit for me right now. So like I haven't been able to like get out of the house as much, which is I feel like keeping me in my head, you know. Because I mean I've always been a nature person, so like hiking and camping and adventuring, like that's my release, like that's where I can like connect with nature and other people and kind of like let go of my energies that bounce around in my head or inside my my being, and just kind of sometimes wreak havoc, because I'm pretty I feel like I'm pretty in control of my mind, and especially with the Toltec wisdom that that Don Miguel imparted to us, and just the things I've learned in life. But it's been really difficult to like take care of myself like spiritually, without um being able to access nature as much, for real. Like I knew I've always loved it being outside, but I didn't realize how much I need it, like, and I feel like we all need it in some sense, just to connect with earth and, you know, Mother Earth. but
Mhm.
I had no idea how much it just like it does wonders for me. Those experiences, like, I feel like fuel me, fill me up with like pure A-dub energy, like at least enough to share the way I like. This past year pretty much it's been draining because I haven't had a chance to refuel, in a sense, and like I'm barely have enough for myself, I feel like. But yeah, this working, man, the job, even though I'm not really a big fan, it definitely helps. I feel like um it's fun not to work, but it's just almost crucial for human beings to have like, a job, but I guess that could be just putting something in your just maintaining something like in your schedule, like, okay, from every day from this time to this time I'm gonna do this, you know just having something consistent, that makes you accountable, I feel like. And this kind of like it kind of snowballs into other stuff, like. But sometimes I don't know, it was weird because I was third shift, I worked like midnight to 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's so tough because I mean I do sometimes stay up that late, but I'm not working, you know, and I can just pass out if I want to. But like having to be up and conscious and attentive for 8 hours, at after midnight, like that's tough, man. So I usually go like 2 days pretty much without sleeping, and I'll sleep like one whole day, and then I work 2 more days without sleeping, and then I sleep a whole another day, and then I have one day off. So it's kind of fucked, but um, it's not bad. But we didn't really get into the Russ song, man. So like, what did you actually hear the song first? You just heard the lyrics and stuff
No,
first.
I did hear it. Yeah, and man, yeah, I still haven't like really dug into the album like I want to. I've listened to it probably 2 or 3 times, like 3 times through, but one time like not really type deal.
Like it's got a dozen songs on it.
Something like that, 12 or 13, yeah.
It's been a while
Um,
since he put out like a dozen track album.
nah, and it's dope. And it's dope. It's like yeah, it's good. It's good.
Shout out Russ.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, what if you got him on the podcast, dude?
that would be epic. I
Russ,
think
you
we're
hear us, Russ? Come on, man. The balancing act. Come balance with us, bro.
yeah. Maybe if I get big enough, if he can benefit from it somehow.
I mean, so
Um,
I'm not saying stalk this motherfucker, but like we should find out what he likes, and like maybe find some chicks that he likes and finds a certain kind of weed that he likes and whatever, and just like, entice his
no,
ass
you're
on
out of
some.
control. You're out of
Really?
control.
What is that? Or is that too high of a goal to get Russ on here?
It's just not like I mean it's specific, but it's just not like
I bet
worth
he's real.
my
I bet
time
he'd
or
be.
attention.
I bet he'd be real as fuck though, and like
Yeah,
we won't
100%. But
talk
I'm not
about
gonna
maybe.
worry about it. If it
Yeah,
happens,
yeah,
it happens. I ain't like trying to make it happen. That's for sure.
that's cool,
Uh,
dude. We call it Russ and us. Oh, anyway,
you're a ridiculous human being, A-dubs.
I know.
I mean, I don't know about human being though, but
Yeah, I don't either.
if
Like, what does that even mean?
I know,
Does it
right?
are we supposed to be like being human? Because most of human beings are not being human.
Yeah,
But
and the Toltec talks about that. Like that's why the Toltecs, like the word Toltec is artist. Like we're artists. You know, and like I think what they mean by that is like the force that moves our body is like creating art all the time. Like you sculpt your own body through everything that you do. The food that you eat, the way that you think, the thoughts that you agree to, um,
everything.
your behaviors, your actions, yeah, everything. Your whole totality is like a force. The body is just something that the force is using as like its favorite toy.
Mhm.
And and so like a human being, right? Like those are just words. Like the definition is what you agree for it to be. And so most of the time that's limiting, and if you think of yourself as an artist, then it's not as limiting. I feel like that's part of the reason that they call themselves that, is like to remind themselves that the only thing that can limit what you really are, what you truly are, is you.
Mhm. And I feel like it's as human beings, it's easier to say that you're in control of your life and you're creating life when like shit's kind of going your way, and like you see like your energies manifest into blessings and like good shit. But sometimes like it's just struggle, and it's not just like us. Like I feel like it's kind of set up like that for us, to struggle. Like even the ones that are successful, they have like it's set up for them to have other issues too, in some way. Like and I'm sure there's plenty. I mean, there's plenty of happy people. I'm not saying everybody's upset, but like I feel like this whole like depression thing and anxiety and ADHD, all that stuff, man, is just like labels and labels and excuses to like not be just better people, not be a better being to like your where you're at,
Hmm.
or not care as much or like have a reason that you're not able to do something, and that doesn't make sense to
Right.
me. Like there's the only reason is that you believe that you can't do it,
Right.
um which is I've gotten pretty good. Like it's been almost a decade since I made the conscious decision to take never ever always and can't out of my vocabulary. I just don't say those things, and even when I do say those things, like almost immediately, like the next sentence will be like, well, not never, but like rarely, or not always, but like it's or especially can't. That's the one where I've gotten to the point where it almost hurts me when I say it, because like as soon as I say like smack myself in the face metaphorically, and like why are you saying that to yourself? Like why are you putting these limits on yourself? Like everybody else does
No,
so
I feel
much.
that.
Like why are you
Like
gonna be
what you were saying about like how you'll sometimes say those words and then you'll catch yourself, and like I was doing that a little bit with Reezy last night, and I feel like I do it with myself all the time. It's just like, but I feel like that's the self-criticism, It's like I think that ultimately it is actually a really good attribute because it just makes you sharper, like more on point. But at the same time, like you have to be willing to act on the positive, like the balance. Like once you are focused and you find that balance, then you have to let go of the voices that are helping you, self-criticize and get to that point, and then let go of that and just act on that balance once you found it, once you find it.
yeah.
And then sometimes, once you've done that for a while, then it's like it gets imbalanced, it's like the cycle of life. But
Yeah, I
um
mean, because that balance, I feel like, is based on shit, you know, that sometimes, like, if there's a fault, or, which is like an excuse, like in the base somewhere or in the foundation, like it's almost gonna be impossible to find like real balance. You might find like contentment, and comfortability, but like it's not gonna be balanced. And so sometimes you have to like dive into that unbalance, like that criticism. Like it's like a root canal, dude. Like you have to dig that shit out sometimes. Like you can't just well, it's and eventually you're gonna have to like dig it out. Is what I'm saying. Um, it's easy to avoid, because in today's world there's so much that just grabs our attention, or there's so much that we can put our attention on. Um, but eventually, like, you're gonna have to deal with it. And nowadays, like there's excuses and there's reasons. Like, oh, I have this condition, or like even the whole Asperger's thing, dude. I feel like if I took one of those tests, I might be on the spectrum somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
but like maybe that's just that day. If I took the same test the next day, like with what I know, like I could probably test where I want on the test. So like, and I'm not saying I have some crazy like test taking skills, but like mentally, our brains have the capacity of like knowing how to fill out a test
To
to
get what we want.
get what we want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you have to tell yourself whatever, like that's what the brain's doing to yourself. Like it's not like some other person like inputting commands into your brain. Like, oh, now you
Well,
have
it could
Asperger's.
be. It could be to
Oh,
a
actually,
degree,
yeah.
but
Well,
it
like
still
like
comes
those
down to
micro
what do you
robots and
agree
shit, dude.
to.
Nano
No, not
robots.
even that. Not even that. I'm just saying, like, even the Toltecs talk about gods and demons and stuff like that.
Oh
And
yeah,
like
no, 100%.
sometimes ideas don't originate with you, but you always
The
have the
Tolte.
power to agree or disagree to any of that. Like, yeah, like you might, the thought that you think might not even be your thought, but it's still up to you. You still, like, the beauty of it is that you can still choose to agree or disagree to anything.
Mhm. No, totally. I mean, that's the metote, the marketplace. It's like, so it's been over 20 years, of practicing the four agreements, and dude, I finally picked up the uh, the one you gave me, man. Finally, the other day, I picked it up, dude. So over here, I'm gonna make a conscious effort to finish that shit, dude. It's been years. But yeah, the metote, man, like I can't, I feel like it's not ever gonna be perfected, maybe, but I mean, I don't know. Plus, I mean, I have plenty of time, but maybe another 20 years. But I've gotten to the point where I can almost distinguish my voice from the crowd, but I still like take it
But when you
just as
say like
lightly.
when you said there, like when you said it may never be perfected, like that's the metote
It is
right there, because
yeah,
it's already perfect,
yeah.
and
Well, I
like
meant the perfecting
you
as
can
in
get
like,
sharper. You can always, yeah, I know what you're saying. Like you can
yeah, yeah,
always improve, but then you also have to see that as like the fact that you can always improve is
sure,
perfect.
yeah,
There is no such thing as a state of perfection from the point of view of like judging things as perfect or imperfect. But when you let go of that judgment altogether, it is perfect. But the word itself is kind of like, I think most people understand perfection in a
yeah,
way that's inaccurate, and that's why they don't see it.
yeah, yeah.
It's all around us. It's all perfect, like all
No,
the
for sure,
time.
man. And so my hiccup right then was because I'm not really used to speaking with people that I can talk about perfection with. So
Nah, I did the same
sometimes
thing
like,
with Reezy last night, and he kept me on point because it was like I'm getting angry at I'm getting angry at all the things that like is perfectly reasonable to be angry about. Like all the stuff you're talking about. People making excuses, people being depressed and anxious, and like not being their best version of themselves because they can get away with making excuses, basically.
mhm,
Um, and that shit just irritates me sometimes. But then it's like if I get irritated by it, then I'm getting dragged down into it, and then I have like my anger issues that I have to deal with, and then it's like
mhm,
that's my responsibility too. I don't have to even get angry by it. Like I'm the
yeah,
one choosing to get angry. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And then he was like, "Yeah, I've been victimized by that. I've been a victim to that before." And then I was like, "It's not even about being a victim. It's not like it's about me feeling like upset that everybody else is being a victim." And then he's like, "So, are you hearing yourself? Basically."
yeah,
It's like, yeah, no, that's real. Because it's like it's not about being right or wrong. It's not about being a victim, but it is about love and fear. But then if I'm allowing all of that to upset me, then I'm basically agreeing to their fear.
yeah. Uh-huh, for sure.
So I feel like you have to like love them and see that you're kind of there too, and to a degree. This is my conclusion. This is not what I didn't say this part to easy, but like my conclusion from all of that is just like you can't love them for being like that, but you can love them in spite of being like that, and not
Oh yeah,
allow
100%.
yourself to get angry and upset by it.
Yeah. And it's like, when you love somebody, like sometimes they're gonna show you a version of them that you don't love, but that doesn't mean you don't love them. It's just that, you know that, I don't know, you just accept like who they are at that moment. And so it's all about. And but yeah, I've been kind of shitty about like returning phone calls a lot, man. Because sometimes it's because I feel like if I just think of somebody, like that's enough. Sometimes. But I'm also kind of weird, like on the phone, like after a certain amount of time, like I do be feeling kind of weird. And even right now, I feel like I'm not used to even like sharing much of myself. This past like year, I've been mad, like mad Hobbit, dude. And
Well,
or
that's the
and
importance of your fucking tattoo or whatever arm. Like
yeah,
that's what allows me to be like open on the podcast too, because I talk about things that sometimes I question whether or not I should even be talking about on here. But then
yeah,
it's like the people that are gonna hate anyway, and I'm not doing this for them. I'm doing this for the people that can like relate,
but I
that
mean,
can relate.
you'd be happy if some of the haters like stopped hating as much. Maybe
I
like
just
eventually, like you're like planting seeds, though. No matter how harsh the soil, like if you keep planting seeds, like one of the motherfuckers gonna get through. Especially if it's like a good ass seed. Like it only needs a little bit, and eventually I feel like some water, something's gonna water it. They're gonna like sometimes I feel like our brains need a confirmation a lot. Like someone can't just tell you something one time and like we believe them, like we try, but like at least for me, um, I'm a lot more about actions, man. And when people like say things like I don't take it personally, but it's like I don't want to assume that they're lying, you know? So like I take it for what it is and I try not to make expectations, but like I feel like some almost all of them that have been like affecting me is are like built up by other people. Like I didn't ask for it, it's not something I asked for, but they kind of offered something or like made plans or like said something that made me believe something. And when that turns out to be not true, like it's kind of hurts, because I didn't need to believe in that shit. Like you
Purposeful
wanted,
deception, conscious
yeah,
deception.
yeah, and like the whole then the gaslighting thing, and like I know it's just a term thrown around, but and throwing shade, but it's really like fucking evil, man. It's just like
Yeah, but you can't take it personally, man.
I know,
I
but
mean,
like
you totally can,
I'm
but
saying
there's
like
no good
that's
that
like
comes from
being
taking it
sprayed with
personally.
acid, and like as you're melting, you're like, yo, don't take it personally, man. It's not about you. It's the acid, okay? It's just you just got in the path of it, dude. Don't worry about it. Like I'm not worried about it. This shit hurts. Like
I feel you. No, I do
like
feel you.
like it's good. It's important to feel like feelings. That's another thing I feel like
Yeah,
I've
no,
ignored is
I agree. I agree with that. I
yeah,
agree with what
man.
you're saying.
And I'm just
It's
like
not about taking it personally, but like you still have to
taking it personally is like I feel like holding it personally. And like you have to
yeah,
I feel like you in a way you almost have to take it personally in the way that you to really like see it for what it is, because you have to get in tune with with yourself on a personal level and a spiritual level, emotional to like really have a clear vision on shit. And until you can have a clear vision of what's actually going on, then that's when you can make the closest thing to like a proper decision on how to proceed after that, that moment or whatever,
right,
and that it takes a lot of work, but there's so much that fogs our vision, like makes the smoky mirror type shit, like
right.
and grabs our attention so we can't even pay attention to that like the moment, like not can't, but it's very easy not to, you know.
It's
um
there's so many distractions.
yeah, and with our phones, dude, like it's tough, when I feel like emotions, like sometimes it's like almost like crack, like boom, phone, distracted, Oh, what about that chess game I was playing? Like, just any thought, but um dude, I actually did some yoga with this chick the other day. It was so good. Oh my God. Like I felt so amazing. Like all my chakras were just like, what the fuck have you been doing? And they were so stiff and like it's been days and I'm still kind of like hurting a little bit, but maybe not hurting, but I stretched some things that hadn't been stretched in a while, and sometimes it just takes a little while to like wake back up, or you pull things that are laid dormant, like muscles and certain fibers, whatever, your back or arms that just if you don't use them a lot, they just kind of atrophy in a way, but they're still ready, they're not gone, and but like they're just chilling because you're not using them. But when you fucking turn a certain ways and activate them, oh, dude, I really want to get into like Tai Chi, dude. I feel like it's so important for us to like be connected with our bodies, like my fucking ninja fucking attributes, and like I don't know, I feel like even 20 years from now when I'm like 60, so I'm still gonna be doing ninja missions, dude. Just like they're just more low key because I'm an old like Mr. Miyagi motherfucker, or you know I'm like running. I have like a clan of ninjas doing my bidding, in some sense.
Yeah, might need to
But
do some more yoga to be effective.
yeah, I know, right? So I mean, so I have just been doing the push-ups, man, and like
Or yeah, just doing something,
yeah, and like
not
now,
allowing that shit to go dormant.
yeah, 100%, man. I just need to. I feel like I just need to like just take the TV out of my room for real. Something.
Or just like I know you're not mobile like with a vehicle right now, but like just taking walks around your neighborhood more often, I know you don't have like the coolest neighbors in the world, but
Yeah.
Take a long walk.
No, I should. And I feel bad because Lily, I feel like this past year,
She's been cooped up.
yeah, man, and I, she has a little growth on her arm now. Like, I think I'm just gonna give pace, whatever, a few $100s get it cut off because it's starting to affect her walking. But I think that's kind of partly my fault, just because she just all she does is sleep and eat. And, like
Hmm.
that's a perfect example of what I was talking about. Our bodies like need that, just like
Yeah, if you don't use it, you lose it. Just
yeah,
walking, like there's little flexibility in between the in
mhm,
between muscles, like the blood flow, all of that.
yeah. And it's not just about like just strength. Like people go to the gym just for like the glamour muscles. Like for the muscles to be seen. And it's not about that. Like I want to be like Bruce Lee, dude. Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't
You know
tell
about
that.
the fascial system? You ever heard that term? Like our
No,
fascia? Yeah,
no.
it's like a nerve network that
Oh yeah, yeah.
it's like a web that our whole body has, you know.
Uh-huh.
It's like it's connected to the chakra system, but it's like that goo almost, if you want to think about it in that sense. I don't know if goo is the best word, but it's like that ectoplasm, you might want to call it, or like our
Yeah,
light
yeah.
body. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying?
Yeah.
Like
The s-
the
spiritual
the
spiritual
fiber
cum.
optic of our body. Yeah.
No, I'm just playing. Nah, I got you. So, dude, speaking on that, there's this new fucking anime on Netflix. It's pretty dope, but um, they talk about like fighting and stuff a lot, but it's more about martial arts, which is like so physically related. Because I feel like most of it started. Well, I mean, of course, you wanted to defend yourself, but like kind of yoga slash tai chi type shit. Like stretching and kind of like going through motions. And then become like arts. And then if you can use the arts for like fighting, that's martial arts. Really like
Mhm.
that's so it's and there's some martial arts where it's not about fighting, but like just using a certain like I forgot what it was, but like with a walking stick, pretty much like is like your thing. Like everything is focused about a stick. It's all about stick work. It's its own like martial art, and it's like it's pretty amazing. But it's mostly about like just being able to fucking go on long adventures for hunting or whatever, or traveling, and being able to defend like wild animals off your ass. You know what I'm saying? And or like you have a stick, and so you do yoga or something in the morning to stretch your body and like realign your chakras and like get your body in fucking fight or flight mode. And today I don't feel like I don't know. I'm part of it too, but we don't really know what like real fight's about, and we don't really know what real flight's about. So like it's kind of like stuck in like the goo, like you're talking about, but in a different sense. Let's um
No, the fascial system can get like knotted up when you don't use it, when you don't stretch it out and stuff. Like they
okay.
get like these little knots in them, and it's like where you have to like, and then those can cause like communication problems with your nerves and stuff. Like it's all connected to like your blood flow and everything, you know.
Yeah,
It's called the fascial system. You should look that shit up. It's kind of
I will check it out.
crucial.
No, I mean I felt it a lot. I mean, so I haven't really like hurt myself too bad in recent years, but I did just recently. Like I think I might have told you something about it, but like I wrecked my bike, and um I say bike, but it was my e-bike. But it's so funny. Like when I say I've tried it. Like when I say e-bike, off bad, people are like, oh, like not that cool. But if I just leave it as bike, and people are like, ooh, like this guy's badass, like for real, it's such a big difference from that one letter, dude. E, like a bike and e-bike, like dude, people assume I'm Evil Knievel or like Pee Wee Herman. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a huge difference, dude. You're like, what the fuck? Just from one letter, from electricity, bro. Like, how is that gonna make me Pee Wee Herman? This is so ridiculous. But yes, I wrecked my shit, and broke my collarbone, fucked up my thumb, broke some ribs, and I've broken a rib here, here and there. I've broken a toe here and there, but man, not like so many things that kept me like from having options of motion. Like usually, if one thing's affected, okay, I have to rely on this side more. Or I have to like lean a certain way or push out a certain way or whatever, to make up for this part of my body being damaged or healing, whatever. But this time it was like everywhere, and it was really tough, man. And I felt that a lot. like just feeling just that goo, like closing me in, um, and then of course I went to YouTube college and started doing my own physical therapy, my shoulder and stuff. And because it's kind of like almost like a spike now because it's because I don't have insurance, I went to the hospital and it was actually kind of like if I wasn't so high off that fucking Dilaudid that they put in my veins, like I probably would have been upset like the way that the doctor treated me. But at first, I thought she wasn't that great of a doctor, to be honest. Like she wasn't that personable. She didn't seem like she liked her job. Like why'd you choose this profession? Like you're helping people is like I don't know. I think the main part of being a doctor should be the personable skills. Like, hey, I'm coming to help you out because I like you. I want you to be like healthier. Like I want my doctor to be like have at least a little bit of that mentality. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I trust you if you don't give a fuck about the outcome of my life? Like
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. Just because you went to school to maybe know better than I do, like, but you don't. Like I could look this shit up too, like nowadays. But yeah. So she came in. She was just basic, like attitude towards me. Just like I was another customer, pretty much. And then when she came back after like the lady came in for the financial assistance / insurance, check. And so it was I guess in the system, and she saw that I didn't have insurance. Like, dude, she didn't make eye contact with me after that. And like was so rushed, even like wouldn't even answer like my questions fully. Like was purposeful. And I was like wasted. So it was hard for me to like interject and be like proper with my responses, because I feel like they were in my head and I couldn't formulate them, because that's what opiates do, like opioids, like or like those fucking pharmaceuticals, man, they just make you so numb. And I felt that like I there was a barrier, and it felt good as fuck. So I wasn't like trying to complain, but I had some shit I wanted to say, and like some feelings I wanted to feel, but they weren't there but I felt them not there, I feel like because I've been besides this stuff, like I don't do any of that shit, But but yeah, so I mean, her whole demeanor towards me, I felt like unwelcome, and like I actually felt like the uncare, like not that I deserve care, like so much care, but I feel like everybody deserves basic care, and if you're a doctor, that's like in your job title, caring for people, like 100%. That's why I went to school, is to try to like learn all these things that could happen to somebody. And so when they come in, boom, boom, do a diagnostics, and they fucking make assumptions, and because of their background and what they've studied, like most of the time they're right, or pretty close. But I bet they just fucking Google and shit is tied into their stuff nowadays. What are the symptoms? Boom, blah blah blah, age, weight, blah blah blah, race, this and that, probably even DNA nowadays. Boom, and then like okay, they do the fucking ratios. Okay, the family might have this, parents have history of this, blah blah blah, and then this is now narrowed down to like 10 things it could be. And then the doctor does their assessment and like kind of narrows it down, multiple choice. And so these 3 things are covered with this one medication. Just take that shit. Like this. Oh man. Eventually, like that's gonna be so streamlined to where, like the emergency room will be like a fucking soda machine. I feel like every service can be offered and streamlined by like AI and fucking the internet. Like at least full access to the internet, everything the internet has. This is pretty much what like I feel like AI is. If you could like pretty much access everything on Google at all times, and recall like right then, like actually, that's pretty much what it is. Like taking everything. I don't know. That's a lot more than that, of course, but I don't know, man. What have you had any experience with like GPT and stuff?
Yeah. No, I think like with AI, like yeah, they're just trying to figure out how to implement it at this point. Like it's
Yeah.
they could already take like 95% of jobs.
But what would happen if that like okay, so let's say that
No,
happens
they're just
tomorrow.
trying to figure out ways to keep us busy right now.
Okay, so let's just like imagine if they wake up tomorrow and 95% of jobs are not there anymore. Like let's go like day by day for like 2 days and see like think about what would happen. Like what do you think the first thing that would happen in the first 6 hours?
Probably straight purge status.
For real? I don't think it would get purged that quick. Really?
I don't know. I don't know, man.
I feel like
I
okay,
really don't know.
maybe locally they would always in every area. I feel like there's at
I
least
mean,
a few guys. Yeah,
immediately, I guess people would be going to farmers
yeah,
and like butchers and yeah,
and stealing from them, or just like trying to like build squads.
trying to build community, yeah, building squads with them, yeah.
Okay,
I
but
think that would
there's
be option number one, but that could obviously break down really quick.
yeah, because like if you're not trying to be part of my squad, I'm trying to take your shit from my squad.
Right.
So like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Squad. Nah,
Yeah.
but dude, um, so yeah, I feel like
Hey, it would get dicey for sure. I mean, I think ultimately
6 hours.
things always work out, but I don't know. That's quite the hypothetical, man. I'm not even I don't want to even take the discussion in that direction. I think it's more like how do you implement AI in a way to not have confusion and unpredictability? Not suit, you know, there's always unpredictability, but how to make it so that people can still like move forward with their lives in a way that's gonna like give them some level of security and comfort and
Yeah,
like all of that, you know,
dude.
freedom,
So I did like the little.
balancing those things, you know, balancing security and freedom. That's quite the balancing act right there, you know.
Mhm. And I think, dude, I think one of the things about balance, I feel like some people don't understand is like even almost with balance is very similar to perfection. You know, like sometimes imbalance is still balanced. Like that's just how it's perfect.
No,
It's perfectly
because it's
imbalanced.
balancing, yeah, it's balancing out what you know what has been, you
Yeah.
know,
Like you can't be
in
balanced
any
without
given
being
moment.
imbalanced too. Like, that's
No, I know. I agree with that
balance.
100%.
Like unbalancedness brings balancedness,
Exactly.
But
And like
but
the more imbalanced you get, the more that pendulum, the more you swing the pendulum to one direction, the more it will swing back the other
the other way.
direction. But if you only
Yeah.
pull it back a little, it'll only go back a little. You know what I
Yep.
mean? But if you pull it back a lot, it'll go back a lot. So it's just
Dude, that's why for like 2 or 3 years straight, I ate like blunt roaches all day. Like no matter what, if it even if it wasn't my
that's so
blunt, sometimes
ridiculous. I don't care what your
I'd be like, yo,
reasoning
you gonna
is.
eat that? Like at the end, like they're like, what? Like you gonna eat that? They're like, and I'd be like,
That's absurd. I've never.
so, but it's a spectrum of
I get.
enjoyment of a
I've
blunt.
heard what you say. I've
Eh,
heard what you've said, and it doesn't make it still. I'd still disagree. I still won't get
Okay,
that.
uh, I don't smoke to get high. I smoke to be high. And I don't need to smoke to get high. And like I don't feel like I really come down from being high. Just that
You
it just
don't
keeps
feel
me.
upset when you don't smoke.
No,
You don't feel like you want to smoke when you don't smoke. Because I
no,
just like I went
I just don't
48
smoke.
hours. I just started smoking for the first time since Sunday night.
Well, so my solution is just not to not smoke. Damn.
I agree with that, but like I was kind of testing myself, you know, and I like realized that I do get kind of angry, you know. But it was
Yeah.
exactly what it kind of relates
Just-
exactly to what we were talking about
You're just angry
earlier.
because you're not smoking. So
Mm,
just solve the problem.
I
No, I'm kidding.
mean,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm a
yes,
kid.
but that's not, I mean, yeah, if you want to simplify it to that, but it's also exactly what we were talking about earlier. It's like, I don't know. I just see how fucked up the world is, you know? And like when I smoke weed, I can deal with the fact that it's super fucked up. When I'm not smoking, I'm like, I feel like I'm forced to deal with the fact that like we live in a fucking insane asylum, you know?
Well, maybe when you're high, you can see how like perfect it is because like you're elevated and you see things for what they are and the full picture, which is like smarter and more beneficial and more like fucking in the moment and balanced. But like when you're not, we're more affected by, of course, the outside stuff, but also we're just like lesser. We're not as good of people. It's hard. It's more difficult for us to see the big picture. And like be affected by everything else that they're trying to affect us with, and grab our attention and
Right.
all this stuff, and when we're higher, like we might like still be just as lazy, but like we choose to be lazy, like purposefully, I feel like, and can enjoy it. Then that's when we like really enjoy something, is then when do something with purpose, or like even if it's nothing. Like someone who's doing nothing can be super happy, or they can be fucking pissed off. But that's their choice, like because of their intended purposes, like their intentions. Like I intend to do nothing for this, or like I intend to do nothing because I'm sad that I'm not doing something. Like we're still the same thing is happening, but one person can be happy with it, and one person can be just pissed off. Like
I'm not lazy though. I'm not lazy even when I smoke.
yeah, I know. I mean, I know you. I know
But
you. You stay hustling, man, um, and of
but
course,
I
this,
but
this
I like yeah, but exactly. I stay hustling whether I'm smoking or not. But when I am smoking, like the hustle is fun and like I can enjoy
yeah,
it. And even though I can still see how fucked up the world is, it doesn't bother me as much because I know I don't have to agree to it. And I can
yeah.
see the beauty in it.
So do you like have a schedule, like when you're just like have your own, doing your little side hustle stuff, like you set apart the same amount of time every day, or like just you just try to squeeze it
Nah,
in, or
I barely even have a schedule, dude. I just go with my gut.
yeah,
I've been trying to really like hone in and what's the word? I guess sharpen maybe my intuition, because one of the biggest deceptions ever played on me, like I knew it was being played on me, but I went with like what was right, what was like the right thing to do instead of going with what I knew was really right. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And like if that
But
that's
I
like my
mean, you
biggest
kind of
regret in
you
all of
kind of
life.
really didn't know until like you made that mistake though. Like even though thought you knew before, like you still did it, so you didn't really know until you did it. Sometimes, like
Yeah, but I was just because I was ignorant to the power of intuition. Like
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't know what it was that even told me to make a different decision. And
yeah,
so I just made the decision that I was supposed to make. And then like I realized down the road what that I guess in a way it was perfect because of that decision. Now I know what intuition is. And when
yeah.
I get
That's what I'm
that
saying.
feeling, and when I get that feeling now, I'm going with it. I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck.
That's what I'm
You know what
saying.
I'm saying?
Like part of intuition is hindsight. I feel like, you have to experience things to have that like
Yeah.
insight, because you've been inside that. Like you saw that shit, and so you have
Hmm.
insight. You
Hmm.
like you grow from like not just like experiencing mistakes, but like fucking taking accountability for them, and like really
Hmm.
fucking taking it on that, like, okay, I did this one thing, but then also that's another thing I don't think I talked about, like the feel, like feeling feelings, like it's important to feel them, but I feel like almost the more you can really feel it, the more you can let it go. It's almost hard to let go if you don't really feel it, because it's almost like grabbing it. Like you have to dig inside, like grab that shit, and so it can like you can let it go. Like because if you're not holding it, how are you gonna let go of something if you're not holding it?
No, no,
So
I mean, words get in the way of what you're trying to
yeah, of
say there.
course. But like I'm speaking
But I
speaking
think,
metaphors. Like
yeah,
I
no, but
see
I
this
see what
dark
you're
this
saying. What you have to do, well, not what you have to do, but the way of what you're talking about, the way I would word that is like you have to address it.
yeah. No, for sure.
If you don't address it, it's just going to continue to be there and grow or like bother you. Even if it doesn't grow, it's going to like the amount of bothered you get by it will grow. You know what I
hmm
mean?
Yeah, and which coincides with like the whole labeling and putting certain actions in like a category is like that's not my fault. It's just something about my brain works, but it's still your brain, dude.
Yeah.
Like
You're the
who
one
else?
making those decisions.
Yeah. So whose fault is it then? Like yeah. Then we go back to like maybe they won't have as much control as we think, but um, I mean,
No,
it's kind
but
of really
nah.
it's kind of hard for me to believe that they're that far into like controlling our brains. Like even with AI, how it's going, like I'm pretty conscious of myself. I'm a pretty conscious being,
Right.
you know,
Hmm.
and
We can
and
always agree or
I've been
disagree to
in like other
anything.
yeah, and I've been in other like dimensions from this dimension, you know, like with DMT and stuff. Like I feel like that would be a thing that they would be hard for them to replicate. You know, that kind of like the things that my fucking that I've seen, you know what I'm saying, and felt like even our that lucid dream that we had about, you know, being fucking Aztec or Incan warriors and shit, you know, like we had fucking I remember we had metal and like real shit and we're fighting people with like sticks and stones, dude. Like just crushing. Like and just not even worrying about it, you know? And I've woken up like feeling like I would have no problem killing more people. You know, like not that I had the desire, you know, don't get me wrong, like I'm not trying to kill anybody in this lifetime. I mean, not gonna say that either. But I wouldn't have I really don't think I'd have a problem doing it, you know? Um and not just in defense, like if I had a good reason, you know, I wouldn't have a problem be like seeing that person's life like leave from their body, you know? Not that
Why?
because I've seen it so much. Like
You've seen people
not
die?
I mean, I've seen a couple, yeah, in this lifetime, but I'm talking about, you know, when we're like in the battlefields, man, like as Incan warriors or whatever, just like taking over whole populations, you know, because we're more advanced in metals and stuff. And like, you don't remember that part about that the battle scene, man? Like we weren't fighting
No,
equal,
I
like,
remember, but like, do you really think that that's the way to
dude,
be?
um, I mean, the way to be what? I feel like
Like,
I'm just aware, like I don't want to, I don't have the desire at all. But I mean, if I ever faced with that decision, I'm not gonna like think twice about it. You know, if it's me or somebody else, like, or I don't know. I don't really think about these situations because I'm not the kind of person like I don't think about killing anybody any at all. But like I'm kind of cynical in the way that like there's a lot of old people that are not really doing much and or just people in
they're already
general.
dead. Yeah.
Yeah, and even people like our age and even younger, dude. Like I've seen a lot of soulless people out there, man. It's
Mm.
sad. And I mean, I don't stop and like talk to them and try to figure them out, nothing. But even just like passing glance, like I can get enough from them, you know, and see enough of their being to like know that they're like so okay with being hurt, you know, inside, like holding on to that hurt, you know, like but like
Mm.
not not accepting it or not dealing with it, like you said, because they're not like aware of it and they're not taking accountability
They're,
for it,
yeah,
you
and
know, and
they're
like
okay with playing a victim.
yeah. And like, but you're like, okay with playing judge and victim, to yourself, like why,
Mm.
like I don't know, but yeah, thank God for the Toltec, man. That's been over 20 years. Um,
And all you know is a little bit. You ain't even dug in for real.
I mean, what does it have? Does it have anything new? Like, what is
Maybe
he talking about? Like what?
you haven't read it yet.
Well, share something with me.
Um. Well,
Like
first of all, he does actually tell a
one
little.
thing that you think that I might, like
No, so no, here's this. I won't specify anything in the book, but just from telling you this, I think you'll maybe be a little bit more motivated to actually read it. Okay, so Beyond Fear was actually written about 6 years before the Four Agreements. It's the only book that he's written that was written
no.
before the Four Agreements. Yes, and he was way realer in it. He was way realer in it, A-Dub, and he realized that he couldn't be too real and he watered that shit down so that he could get through to the masses, and that's what the Four
Why'd you
Agreements
tell me
is.
this before, dude? I would have like read
Because
that.
you're a hater. You should have just believed me and read it the first time.
What if it changes me? I'm kind of scared of it in a way. Like something about it has like
It's
kept it
called
from me.
Beyond Fear.
Maybe I like fear.
But
I don't
why?
know. Cause I feel like a lot of the, like this really stupid shit I've done is because I let go of fear. I just like I was reckless. With my my emotions and my physical body and like my love and like
Oh yeah, no, but he
finances.
specifies the difference between rational and irrational fear, because even animals experience fear. That there's nothing wrong with that fear.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
psychological fear is the fear we need to go beyond.
Yeah. You're right. Um. Okay. Yeah. I'm just trying to add rationale to like irrational stuff. So yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, no, it's dope. I've already done I don't know if you've even been checking my YouTube channel out, but I did a bunch of Toltec readings. Like I read some of my favorite passages from across like a few different books, but I'm about to do Beyond Fear. The next several are going to be from that book actually.
For real? All right. Well, I mean, I'm down. And yeah. So this past year, I've just been dealing with a bunch of like small, little, quick relationships, and sometimes with the dating nowadays, sometimes it's only like a few minutes. It's like two like a back and forth, like 2 or 3 sentences. Sometimes it could be that's your almost relationship, and then she broke up with you. Okay, dude, move on. You know, and sometimes you have to be responsive. You know, if you like don't keep track of like the messages from some chicks, like dude, they're gone, you know, or like picked up by somebody else, you know, like their messages came in faster, or like had a better timing for them, you know, or like something happened where like you didn't play your cards right, and you gotta keep it moving. And it's tough. You don't really get a chance to really know anybody, you know. And if once like what Russ was saying, like if you do try to get to know somebody, or if you, like especially I guess women, and goes both ways, but when you open up, like it's almost like people are too quick to just grab what they can, you know, and then start like throwing expectations and fucking worries,
Mm,
and like, you know,
mm,
it's so frustrating. Like so the most recent one kind of been it's almost like a month or so. Like she was started feeling feelings for me, and I was like, dude, we need to pump the brakes. You know, I'm not really trying to like hurt you or catch feelings really right now anyway. Like plus she's like far away, dude. And then it kind of still happened, progressed anyway. And but then it's like she's, I don't know. This is stupid. I didn't want to talk about it. No, this is cool, man. This is still don't even know what really was happening. I don't know.
Would you
I'm
ever
putting
want to be in a long-term relationship? And I don't mean like necessarily to death, but like,
dude, 7
you know,
years.
let's I mean, you don't even have to like set a date. You could just say until
No,
we accomplish this goal. If it takes
you
10 years, if it takes 20 years, like building
no.
a house or building property or something.
So, dude, you asked me the question. I'm saying my answer. I've thought about it. Is 7 years. Like, I would love to enter
No,
into a partnership with
I'm
somebody.
saying no, I'm not saying I just like you do you. I'm saying it doesn't even have to be a set number, is all I'm saying.
Oh, well, to me it does,
But why
because like
7 years then?
okay, well, I think I like the 7. It's just like a good sounding like time to get to know somebody, you know. And so in 7 years, I've also heard that every single cell in our whole body has like regrown or changed or died off, and
Okay.
so we are
Every
100%.
7 years. No, okay,
Yeah, we're
that's a good
100%
number.
a
Okay.
whole new
Okay.
being,
Every
every
seven
7 years.
years. Yeah.
So in 7 years, we like have an evaluation, like, yo, this was just pretty tight. Let's do another 7. Let's celebrate each other again, get remarried. You know what I'm saying? And try another 7. You know, and then like, but also if there's kids involved, like the 7's coming up. Okay, like, oh, dude, this, it's not kind of working out. Like, let's try to like break this off amicably and fucking do what's right with the kids. There wouldn't be as much single like households, and like kids without parents. If there was like a chance to like, I feel like a contract like that, like lifelong, it's just kind of it makes you feel trapped. And no matter how much you love something, you don't want to be trapped with it. You know. Like even just the
Oh, so
thought of
you mean just like psychologically knowing that, okay, I could get out of this in 3 years. Like I can stick it out another 3 years.
yeah, yeah,
And you know what I'm saying? Instead of
yeah.
like,
You're
I
into it for
can't do this
7.
anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's kind of like
exactly.
gives you the mental patience, you know,
Uh-huh.
to like, okay, well, the things could turn around in the next 3 years, or if not, I can just break it off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And then and maybe you get to the 3 years, like, you know what? I can do another 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love you. I still love you a lot. Like, let's do another 3. You know, but it has to be mutual. You know, so like, it gives them a chance to get out too. Like, well, you know, I kind of have been hating you for 4 years, so I'm out. Like, okay, thank God for telling me. Like, I almost put another 7 in. Like, what the fuck? You know, I just feel like it'd be great for like relationships in general, and like you know, when it comes to like, you know,
But
partnership.
but then there's still a lot to fill in there. Like, what if you want to get out before the 7 years? Are we trapped for 7 years, or like, because right
I
now we're
mean,
trapped for life. But like, if you want to get out of
yeah.
the relationship before 7 years, is there a penalty to that, or like, how does that
Well, I
work? You
mean,
know what I'm
no,
saying?
but that's like that's the marriage level, you know. Like you can sign up for like, you know, lesser amounts, but if you want to be like married, that's 7 years. Like you can't just get,
Okay, okay.
you know. I don't know. I guess
In order to get the state tax discount or whatever,
yeah. No, I mean, but no. What's it called? When you just live together. Um,
cohabiting.
yeah, yeah. I mean, those are. I'm down with those laws. Um, because if you live with somebody, like, how could you deny that you're like a partnership? You know what I'm saying? There's y'all not benefiting at all from living together. Come on. So then you should get the rights of living with somebody like that. You know, but they shouldn't stick with you. That's the thing. Like once when shit goes bad, like there's so much problems and drama because like you can't get somebody out. Like, dude, this happened to me just last month, man. I don't think I talked to you about it. One of my friends, this younger black dude, and he's from Lynchburg, and he thinks he's real gangster dude, you know. But and I still have mad love for him, but like he hasn't really seen much as he thinks, you know. And he's still like in his late 20s, dude. Like he hasn't seen that much, and he went off to Mexico for like 4 years. You know, I heard from him like once every 6 months or so, you know, over the time span. All of a sudden, I start hearing from him more often, and then he's like, "Yo, I can't. It's tough out here. Like, I'm coming back to the States. What's going on? Like, let's talk, do the business we talked about, this and that, you know, because I mean, we did talk about business, like both, you know, got the hustler mentality. Um, so I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not really in a great spot either. Like, the only way that I could get my dad to agree from you staying here is if you had rent, and for me to like share my space, like I would need like you to have access to a car or a car that we could use, you know what I'm saying? Like, because if we can get out, then I'm okay with like you being in here with, you know, with me, like in my space, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like, but then I try to make that, and which I didn't, and he was like, all right, bet, no problem, like I got it, you know. And then so he shows up with nothing, neither one, no money or like access to a car, you know. And it was like so frustrating, you know. And I couldn't really like get out my frustrations. Then when I did, like it just got into an argument, you know. And like he's younger and like probably, you know, way stronger, you know, like especially now that I've been kind of weak with after the wrecking my bike, bro. But yeah, so he was here like not even 10 days, and it became such a big problem. Like we had to try to get him out. Like we had to call the cops and shit. But
Damn.
the cops couldn't let him, like make him leave, because in Virginia, like he's considered like a resident if he's invited. But like then there's no real proof that he was invited, but he except for the fact that he's here. You know, even though like they can tell like he's not family, you know what I'm saying? Like me and my dad don't want him here. The cops could not do shit.
Mm.
Like even, and he's down there storming, breaking shit, like while the cops are here storming around, like, and they couldn't do anything. You know, like this, he doesn't live here, dude. Like there's no ID, there's no text saying that contract, nothing except for, you know. But like they can't take it, so they had to do like an eviction, you know, stuff like that. But I knew that if it escalated a little bit, you know, if there was like physicalness, then like that, you know, it would happen faster. So like I was about to start, like, you know, I try to come out with my nunchucks, but I felt bad because like in my head I visualized him like lunging at me because I really gonna just crack his skull open like if he came at me, and like that's not gonna look good on my part. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
Like,
not at
like
all.
yeah, dude. So like I didn't do that, but like but yeah, he got mad and like kind of like pushed my dad out the way a little bit, you know. And so
Mm.
my dad had rights to like get a protective order, which got him out of here. But like if it wasn't for that drama that I had to kind of like fucking orchestrate, like he probably the motherfucker still would have been here, you know. And and like we're getting by, but not like doing the best. And like he was just another being here that's another third bill of bills, like water being used, electricity. He would sleep with like his laptop on, like watching YouTube videos. Like, what? Just please close your fucking laptop. Like eating food. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I can notice it like instantly, almost like because I'm kind of like rationing. In a way. Like cupboards aren't full. Like there's shit in them, but they're not full. It would take we take advantage of like fucking the churches that have like food drives and shit. Like I ain't no shame in my game, but I'm starting to get checks though at the one job. But um, plus, dude, I don't want to take my cryptos out, dude. Like I
Yeah.
was expecting some like real returns right by now, man, but they're still just like, oh, just ain't doing shit. Like, so what's up with Dodge, bro?
I don't
And
know.
Link,
I don't fuck with
and,
none of that shit no
and
more.
Link, no, you don't have no Link or nothing.
Oh, I do, but I don't keep
Oh,
up with any of it.
dude, I mean, so you don't think like the AI trading thing, like that's legit? I'm trying to find like a decent group where I can get on that they have, good AI system set up to like make money and shit. Like people are doing it, right? Like it's not just ads and shit I see.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's probably is just ads that you see actually.
But how are they benefiting from me? Like, what? I don't understand. Why do people do that shit, yo? How how do they know the algorithms, yo? They got me. um. Oh yeah, dude. So I was gonna mention Chat GTP. Like there was a trial version where you can ask it a few questions that you want for free, right? So like the first one was kind
On
of
your
some bullshit.
computer, no, on your computer you can do it, the real thing for free.
Uh-uh.
Yeah,
Not
OpenAI.
OpenAI, really?
Yeah, it's
It,
called it's openai.com, yeah.
it
All the
uses
apps, there's no apps, I don't think, for it, but on your computer you can get it.
no.
It's OpenAI.
I mean, I'll check. I mean, I believe you. I'm gonna check it out. But because Chat
Yeah.
GPT is like the popular one, and like,
No, OpenAI is the company that founded ChatGPT.
oh
It's the
really?
real ChatGPT, yeah.
Oh damn. Well, I guess this must have been a few months ago. But like, why were they charging?
Because it's not them, it's like apps that are taking advantage of their software
Oh,
and
oh
then
here it is.
charging people. I'm sure one of them is actually theirs, but they're charging people to use the app. But on the
Okay,
computer, you can go to chat.openai.com and
okay. No, check it out.
you can chat with ChatGPT 3.5 for free, but
Oh,
ChatGPT 4 it does cost money.
okay, for real. But I mean, what's the big difference?
I have
You
no
said
idea. I'm on it. I'm on it right now is the only reason that I even know that.
that. No, I'm check it out. But, so yeah, man. So I asked the Chat GPT 4 a few questions, man, out, and so I was on this level of like kind of it's very similar to the labels thing, but it's about playing victim. It was just I feel like part of gaslighting and like throwing shade is like you're you're like casting something away, like, but sometimes you're casting on yourself, as the victim, But so I asked this dude, I was like, we are not all victims. How can we show that victimized thoughts create the victim? So in the sense, like the more you think that you're a victim, the more you are a victim. And
Mhm.
so this is the response. As an AI language model, I do not have the personal beliefs or opinions. However, from a psychological perspective, victimized thoughts and attitudes can create a victim mentality in individuals, leading them to believe that they are powerless and helpless in their situations. This can prevent individuals from taking responsibility for their actions and seeking solutions to their problems. Instead, they may focus on blaming external factors for their circumstances and feeling sorry for themselves. Consequently, it becomes essential to adopt a growth mindset, taking responsibility for one's life and focus on personal development to overcome challenges and thrive. By cultivating a more proactive and empowered mindset, individuals can shift their focus from victimhood to possibility and take control of their lives.
That's
pretty
fucking epic.
That's awesome, right, dude?
That's
I was
so
like,
perfect.
so
That's epic.
good. I know.
So good. Well, let's find out the difference between ChatGPT 4 and 3.5. How did you word that question?
Yeah, we are not all victims was the first sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And because you have to kind of set it up, and then
Yep.
it said, how can we show that victimized thoughts create the victim?
It seems like you're interested in discussing the relationship between victimized thoughts and the perception of oneself as a victim. It's important to approach this topic with sensitivity and respect for individual experiences, as people's feelings and experiences can vary greatly. Let's explore some perspectives on how victimized thoughts can influence one's self-perception and how one might work towards a more empowered mindset. Self-awareness. Encourage individuals to reflect on their thoughts and beliefs. Helping them become aware of when they're thinking in a victimized manner can be the first step in recognizing how those thoughts impact their self-perception. Ownership of thoughts. Encourage taking responsibility for one's thoughts and emotions. This means recognizing that while external circumstances might be challenging, how we choose to interpret and respond to them is within our control. Number 3, positive affirmations. Engage in positive self-talk and affirmations. Repeating positive statements about oneself can help counteract negative victimized thoughts and build a more empowering mindset. 4, focus on resilience. Highlight instances where individuals have overcome challenges and adversity. This can help shift the focus from victimhood to resilience, showcasing their ability to adapt and grow. 5, problem solving. Encourage problem solving and proactive approaches. Rather than dwelling on negative situations, focus on finding solutions and taking action to improve the situation. 6, okay, there's a little bit more. 6, supportive environments. Surround oneself with a supportive network of friends, family, or professionals who can provide encouragement and perspective. This can help counteract the feelings of victimization. There's 10 of them. 7, mindfulness and meditation. Practices like mindfulness and meditation can help individuals become more aware of their thoughts without judgment. This awareness can facilitate a more conscious choice in how they respond to those thoughts. 8, gratitude practice. Cultivate gratitude by focusing on the positive aspects of life. This can help shift the perspective from victimhood to appreciation. 9, setting goals. Help individuals set achievable goals. Having goals to work toward can provide a sense of purpose and motivation to move beyond victimized thinking. And 10, professional help. In cases where victimized thoughts are deeply ingrained or causing significant distress, seeking the help of a mental health professional, such as a therapist or a counselor, can provide valuable guidance and support. Remember that everyone's journey is unique, and the process of shifting from victimized thoughts to a more emphasized mindset takes time and effort. The goal is not to dismiss or invalidate anyone's experiences, but to foster personal growth and resilience. That was way more drawn out, and I actually liked yours way more.
All right.
So ChatGPT 4 is that much better.
Dude, so that was just the first question. I realized, like, you want to hear the other one?
Yeah, because 4 was way better than 3.5.
So I started like realizing, what the AI was, and like, so the more you like input to it, the more you give it to work with, the more it can work with it and like give you back,
Oh, 100%, 100%. I was just curious to see how much better it was, and that was a significking difference.
Yeah, right, dude, huge. It was like talking to like a college person rather like to a middle school person, something like that, or a high school person, I guess, maybe freshman or sophomore, like, yeah.
Right.
So the second question was about like taking things personally, and you can, I'm sure like the response is right on point with like the 4 agreements pretty much, but then I was like, okay, I'm taking the next level, and I actually like gave it some praise too. I was like, such beautiful truth you speak. A good practice of self-awareness, empathy, and detachment is love, is it not? Please share your insights on how the act of letting go is the truest form of love, and how twisted cultural views on love have become. And here's the response. As an AI language model, I do not process or possess personal beliefs or emotions, but I can provide some information on the concept of love and how it relates to letting go. In its purest form, love is often described as unconditional and selfless. Love is about giving to others without expecting anything in return and accepting people for who they are, flaws and all. However, cultural perspectives on love have become complex and somewhat twisted, leading people to have different expectations and interpretations of what love is and how it should be expressed. One of the essential aspects of love is the ability to let go. Letting go is an act of love because it requires us to release control and attachments to people or things, allowing them to grow and evolve in their own way. By giving others the space to be themselves, we can demonstrate our trust, respect, and acceptance for them, showing our love for them even if it means letting go of them. The ability to let go requires us to practice self-awareness and understanding of our emotions and attachments. It means recognizing the impertinence of all things and understanding that change is a natural part of life. By acknowledging this truth, we can free ourselves from attachment, fear, and resistance, allowing us to love more unconditionally and be more at peace with ourselves and the world around us. In conclusion, letting go is an act of love that requires us to move beyond cultural conditioning and embrace the true essence of love, selflessness, acceptance, and giving without expecting anything in return. By learning to let go and love unconditionally, we can discover greater fulfillment, happiness, and meaning in our lives. So good, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I gotta wave the white flag. I don't think I can top that. I just kind of want to end this shit right there.
For real?
Unless you got something else you want to say.
That's what's up, man. No, that's about good, man.
That
Yeah.
was fucking perfect.
Really? Well, how about like I don't think I put my cool mask on, dude. Oh yeah, here we go. For the picture, yo.
Is that your COVID mask?
Yeah. Well, dude, it kind of sucks because like I was really excited when I saw these. I bought them, and I was like, man, I'm gonna show this COVID, bro, like how cool you could be during COVID, and then they took off the mask like fucking mandates, man. Like, so then I can't be walking around like this without mask mandates. Come on, it's weird. So I have not ever had the chance to wear them in public, but now millions of viewers can see how weird I can be.
Well, millions is quite the exaggeration, but
I
few
mean,
people.
I said they have the ability to to see. I'm not saying they will.
Fair.
And also, like this could go on forever, man. You know, it could. I'm not talking in a million years. If one person a year watches it, there'd be like a million people.
Fair enough.
Right? That's a good goal. One new person a year, dude. Then you'll have 1 million views in a million years. Oh shit. All right, man. I love you, man.
Love you too, brother. Peace.
Peace.
Do you believe in repenting? What if the kingdom of heaven's within you? Do you think you would enter, huh? What do you know, huh? How do you know truth? From the pit of your soul or just cause somebody told you? Do you think about what you think about? Do you see yourself in the people that you hang around? Keep quiet, let me think aloud. Listen up, wanna break it down and question your perceptions. I'ma break it down and question your perceptions. Do you ever question your perceptions? Do you ever question it all? Yeah. What if your money was worthless? Then would you know what your worth is and reconsider living with a purpose? How would you determine what work is? Are you seeking what's easy to purchase, or is it deeper than what's on the surface? Do you question your perceptions ever so is real, huh? It ain't your politicians, nor your status. All of that is fiction, so it's real, huh? It ain't your entertainment, nor the industry. I heard it's filled with fake shit. And I need truth over everything. Yeah. I need truth above all else. Just I need truth over everything. Yeah, give me the truth, yeah.